Welcome to the 2023 Heart of America Athletic Conference Baseball Media Day. I'm your host, Stephen Davis. Next up, we're joined by Peru State College head baseball coach and athletic director Wayne Albury and Blake Denson. Coach Blake, how are you guys?
Good. Doing good today. A little chilly, but doing all right.
All right, Coach, let's start with you. Tell us about the guy next to you, about Blake, and what he means to your program.
Well, Blake is he'll be a sophomore this year, and he's a two-way guy for us. We kind of been going that route a little bit more, and he plays infield for us, and actually put a little time in last year as a freshman on the infield and on the mound some for us. So he had a really good off season in the weight room, and going to have to be two-way guy for us again. So we're excited about that. He's an excellent student. And he's an excellent ambassador for our program and for Peru State College.
Great stuff. Blake, tell us about your hometown, where you're from, and what your major is at Peru.
I'm from a small town in central Nebraska, Broken Bow, Nebraska. My major is in business management. What else? I actually didn't have high school baseball in my hometown. I played it only in the summer. I actually golfed in the spring, and I was a state qualifier in that.
Very cool. So how did you end up in your baseball journey getting to Peru then with not having a high school baseball team?
It was actually around COVID when everything was shut down. I took that time to just start emailing coaches of schools that I wanted to go to, and I was able to get in contact with Coach Albury and scheduled a visit here that following fall, my senior year, and ended up committing around, I believe, January or February of my senior year.
I'll tell you, during that COVID time, it was pretty tough. And even though coaches can get out and recruit a lot, sometimes when you don't know about players and you're fortunate enough to get a player like Blake to contact you and everything work out, you feel pretty lucky about that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Blake, back to you real quick. Coach mentioned you're a two-way guy and one of the leaders of this team now. What are some goals you have both for yourself individually and for the team as a whole?
I would say just being able to use my ability to play infield as a position player as well as pitching just to help the team this spring. I think I'll be bouncing around. Every day is going to be different for me.
Very cool. Coach, you guys had a solid season last year. You got to the Hart Tournament in Ozark. What are some key things you hope your team can take from last year into this season?
Well, I think if you look at the last 2 years, we've kind of had a slow start. I'd like to have a little better start this year. I think at one point we were 0-15 and then had a pretty decent year from that point on. Had a chance the last weekend to do some things still and finish a little higher. We didn't get that done. I think last year, it was a grind last year. We had to make 2 trips to Mount Mercy and 2 trips to Clark just to get the series in. And I think we spent more time on the charter bus than we did even playing. So that got to us a little bit last year. I think we've toned our schedule down a little bit as far as travel and things like that. And then, of course, you always have to play your conference schedule. But we have a lot of new faces. We're pretty excited about some position players we added. We don't think our pitching is going to be as dominant as it has been in some past years, but we feel good about the people we have. They're strike throwers and really feel good about our defense. Could possibly be one of the better defensive teams we've had in recent years. So we're pretty excited to get started.
Coach, you mentioned a lot of newcomers. Who are some of the returners you have back that you're counting on both on the mound and at the plate?
Well, I wish I could tell you there was a lot. Obviously, Blake's back. We have Angel Andreas. He caught for us last year. We have Will Reynolds. He was a center field Gold Glove. We have Wes Bradford. He played right field for us last year, but he's moving to first base. And other than that, we're a lot of new faces on the mound. We have Diego Oquendo back on the mound. He's kind of our top guy. And we've added a freshman that we feel has really a good chance to be one of the top pitchers in the league. His name is Kevin Diaz. So other than that, even though with new faces and we've seen them, still a lot of unanswered questions. How the fall is one thing, but once you get into the season and start playing, we'll see how people react and go from there.
Absolutely. Blake, back to you. Tell us about your teammates, a lot of whom are new, as Coach said, and the camaraderie this squad has. How much fun is it to play with this group of guys?
It's a lot of fun. It was pretty tough in the fall, just trying to get everybody's names and everything. I mean, there was a lot of new faces in those scrimmages and stuff. It's been a lot of fun. I really enjoy this group and practicing with them and competing with them and everything.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Have you guys been able to get outside much this spring? You talked about some scrimmages last fall. Has the weather allowed you guys to get anything going outside this year?
We right when we got back, we got out 2 or 3 days to try to take a ton of ground balls and fly balls. And other than that, we haven't been outside in 2 weeks. So doesn't look like we're going to, well, actually looks like tomorrow we might be able to get out midday for maybe an hour or two and go over some bunt coverages and pickoffs and things like that. So, anytime we can get outside and take ground balls, and actually we go on the football field, which is turf. So we can get out there for a little while and do a few things, but it looks like tomorrow may be the only day we get. So,
Blake, what have you liked that you've seen from your teammates so far, both maybe stuff you've seen in workouts and just hanging out with them off the field too?
I would say just everyone has been blending together really well. There's not really any, I guess, I don't know really what's the word for it, but like everyone just gets along really well. They've enjoyed competing against each other. We're always joking around at practice but when it's time to get locked in, and whether it's scrimmages or learning bunt coverages, like you said, and we can do that too.
Blake, how excited then are you guys to finally get out and the weather to warm up a little bit and you guys can start playing some games finally?
Very excited. I mean, it's been tough just walking around campus. It's been so cold this last week, and it's supposed to be for the weeks to come too.
Coach, we'll wrap things up with you for the fans who have or maybe haven't seen a lot of Hart baseball over the years, to just describe the level of play that your team sees week in and week out when you hit conference.
well, I think I can best explain it by we've had 2 different teams in our league make it to the World Series in the past 2 years. A long time we kind of had that rap of, you guys are a good league, but nobody ever gets to the World Series. Well, 2 years ago, Central Methodist got there and was runner up, and then MNU got there last year. I'll tell you what, and I've been associated with this league for 12 years. And to me, it's one of the top leagues in the country, and it's probably the strongest I've ever seen it.
High praise there. Coach Alberry, Blake, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck this season.
Thank you.
Thank you.